You can thank Coach.
Oh, so you got to do it while we're here.
Yes, I'm glad.
You're always.
I didn't do it. I tried to read it. So I wanted
Morning, everybody. I haven't even given Dave a chance to get in yet, but you know, we'll let him wander up front.
I'm working at it.
It'll all work. I'm not concerned. Coffee was like,
No microphone today. All right.
the microphone I can get it.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to this wonderful group of Rotarians. If you were a group of apes, you would be a shrewdness. Whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
I could run and get it, but it's here since.
I have one.
Here we go.
In the auditorium for the veterans.
Hold on, this guy right here. I pledge allegiance
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
and our four-way test.
Of the things you think say or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill or better relations? Be beneficial to all concerned.
All right, great to have you with us today. Rich, you see how far we've gone? Now we have to have a flag on somebody's sleeve. How bad is that?
No, that's called serendipity.
Serendipity. Okay. Dippity doo. All right. Today is November 11th, the year 2025. It is Veterans Day. And I am embarrassed to say, I don't know if we have any veterans in our club.
Yeah.
Here, and you, can you tell us what branch you were in?
I was in the Army, 1965 to 67, the draftee.
Okay,
United States Marine Corps, 1982 to 1986.
right, and who else? I put my hand up, I'll know who I'm talking to. Steve.
U.S. Air Force 73 to 70.
I did know that, now that you say it, I did know that. Okay, we have one more? Army. What years? Early 60s? All right, did I get everybody? Thank you very much on this Veterans Day. Have a little poem at the end for veterans. It's day number 315 of the year 2025. The Wisconsin Badgers are 1-5 overall, 1-3 in the conference. Gophers are 4-2 overall and 4-0 in the conference until this Saturday. And the Packers, in one very dull game, are now 5-3-1, and the Vikings are 4-5. So we're all asking ourselves, when does spring training begin? Things you probably don't know, don't need to know, but I'm going to tell you anyway. This is one where you probably will never be able to forget, but you wish you could.
I can't wait.
The average wind speed of a fart is 7 miles an hour.
Where did you find this?
I measured it.
I think I can beat it.
It's the average. It's the average. Some are more, some are less.
It's not having any competition right now. And I'll do it.
Oh,
And you'll never be able to forget it.
no, I'm not.
You can look it up. Go ahead. Now I lost. Is Eagle still a member here?
Honorary.
Honorary, because it's his birthday
Oh, is
this
it?
week.
Oh,
On the
this week,
14th.
okay.
Otherwise, we have no other birthdays this week, no club anniversaries this week. And we have some guests with us. Kate back here, and then and Stephanie, who's sitting with her. So we're glad to have you with us today. And we're not always this much fun in the morning, but this group is pretty fun. And our Chief Garrison, is it? Yes, is here today. So we've already been able to use your sleeve. You're done. That's all we needed you for. So with that, let me end with a poem I did not write, but a thank you veteran poem. I don't know who wrote it. With courage and strength, you took a stand, protecting our freedom, guarding our land. Your sacrifice and heart, steadfast and true, for all you've given, we honor you. From homes and loved ones, you did part, serving our nation with a selfless heart. With deepest gratitude, we thank you too, dear veteran, for all you've done and do. To families who stood by, strong and bright, supporting their loved ones through every night. For sacrifice also lives in our hearts. Thank you, dear families, for your vital part. Okay, Veterans Day 2025. It's all yours.
Thank you, thank you.
I don't even have a place to sit. I haven't gotten that far.
Wow. Okay, so our two guests that are here today, Stephanie and Kate, would you care to share a little bit about how you decided to come and join our meeting? Or you need it, but if you'd like to, give you an opportunity.
I work on Tri-Point Garden, so many of you may be familiar with Matt Carmen in the past, who recently retired from the end of June. I've worked with Terry by himself for the last 2 years.
But you gave it,
We'll still like you. We've known Terry over the last couple of years, and I saw that he was on the member list, and now he gave him a call and said, come join and see more about Rotary and get involved.
Well, thank you so much.
Hi, Kate Rutstead. I was previously with Thermostore, which is a manufacturing plant on the east side here. Moved up to this area a little over 3 years ago, and Steve was kind enough to invite me to join today and just kind of learn more about the organization and just get more involved in the community. And so we wanted to come learn more today.
Okay,
Should we invite them back next week?
we should invite them back next week.
We're having it's kind of a member orientation next week. That doesn't mean you have to join, but if you want to come and learn a little more, come back next week.
That's not all part of
It could be, if that like brings more people in.
Yeah.
Well, so our member minute today, is Ann O, who is not here today, so I'm gonna move on with the rest of the just general announcements. One of which being that November the 18th is gonna be our orientation meeting. So even if you've been in Rotary for many, many years, we would still love to have you attend, but we want to make sure that we're giving information about how Rotary works and history and just a variety of things that members need to know. So that'll be next week. Speaker calendar, there's a few folks who have told me that they have speakers. We don't maybe have their information yet, so if we could get that to Rich, so we could get that on the calendar, that'd be delightful. And we do have a board meeting today immediately following this meeting, and everyone's welcome. Steve?
On the speaker list, when are you gonna put out the next?
I will defer to Rich for that. It is on through the rest of the year, but I will defer to Rich and I'll get that information and we'll get it out unless he wants to.
He was on there.
now. All right,
I think it's out there through the end of February right now.
February, okay. All right,
This was last week, I thought it was just through.
Just- December, okay, we'll take a look.
Just changed the last-
Maybe he just changed it too, so. All right, thanks, Rich, and thanks, Steve. Okay. On to Rotary Moments. Anybody have any Rotary Moments? Debbie?
I have one, so we, as you know, we've been doing, the UW concession stands as a fundraiser, for the club. We've done fairly well on those. When Ann gives her thing, her presentation will be covering all of that. But this summer, if you haven't heard, there's a concert coming to Camp Randall. A little group called AC/DC. Right. We need all the volunteers we can get for that. I think it will be huge. Not only are you going to get, nobody's heard of it, I'm sorry, but it's a metal band, and and there should be a lot of sales, I would think. Alcohol,
Not that we want to stereotype, but, you know.
And so Tony's already reached out to the concession people and said, yes, we want to work that concert. It's July 19th. I'd like you to put it on your calendar now. It is, I don't know what day it is. It seems like maybe it's a Sunday night, Saturday, Sunday, something like that. So love to have as many as we can. It is coming that when we do these events, what we all know, the nice thing is we don't have a lot of preparation for these. We show up, it is a long day, so you just have to be prepared. Excuse me, but we count, we serve, we do our inventory at the end, and we go home. So there's not a lot of preparation. And it is a lot of fun. Those of you
And you can hear the concert. I mean, you might not see it, but you can hear it.
You can hear it, you can hear them play. I'm just giving you a heads up. Tony will probably be the lead on this. I am not going to work this one because my husband and I have tickets to AC/DC. It is a Sunday night, a Sunday. So no, I'm sorry. Yeah. So they'll have to be out of there at a certain time, but please put it on your calendar. Again, we do have a lot of fun. It is a long day. I think last time we did the football game for Ohio State, we have the nicest concession stand we've ever had. We had a lot of room. The team was great, so please put that on your calendar.
July 19th. Other Rotary Moments? Anybody at all? All right, well then, so our guest today is Chief Garrison, and Ann is the sponsor, and
Teresa's gonna introduce,
and
Ron also.
and Ron got him to speak, so it's a communal effort, but Teresa, if you'd like to do the introduction, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. I am really excited to introduce Chief Garrison. Chris has been with the city for almost 10 years. He celebrates his 10-year anniversary at the end of this month. So if you haven't had a chance to meet him, I'm glad you finally do get to meet him. He has been instrumental in transforming our fire department over this last decade of service. We used to be a solely volunteer-led fire department. We've grown to 2 different locations, really building out the West Side Community Center location as well as the one on Bristol. Throughout that time, he has professionalized our fire department, led some incredible teams. He has transformed and brought EMS into it as well, so they're working more cohesively. So all around, a phenomenal leader. He led us through the explosion. That's when I really got to meet and see his incredible leadership for our community through our toughest times. So everyone, Chief Garrison.
Well, I don't know if I can live up to all that, and you shook me all night long, a little AC/DC. And the other issue is you will be able to hear the music wherever you are. I think we'll hear it in Sun Prairie. So all good. So love that event. Thank you. Great opportunity to get out there and be with you guys today. Thank you very much. I think I spoke here about, I think it was 7 years ago, was the last time I had an opportunity to come in here and we talked a little bit about leadership. But I think I'm going to take an opportunity today to talk to you about the future challenges of our organization and some of the things we're facing. As I said, I've been very fortunate to be a part of Sun Prairie. This is the gentleman who actually brought me here 10 years ago. So I thank him and all of you for the opportunity. You know, I look out at the audience and this is all my bosses right here. And this is, as I said, a great opportunity. And we all know what we have ahead of us here in Sun Prairie. I'm really proud of having the opportunity to serve here in Sun Prairie. I've been here, it'll be 10 years on November 30th. And I came from the Chicago area and moved out here. I was really angry last night because I turned on my YouTube TV and I could not get the Packers game. So I sat there on my phone and watched it on my phone, just the little thing moving back and forth. And unfortunately for y'all, I seen it moving backwards more than I did forward last night. As a Bears fan, sorry. Yeah, now I get my booze, so I'm not so happy about being here. But that's young me 10 years ago, and me today. I've been honored to be able to serve Sun Prairie, but not only Sun Prairie, but the state of Wisconsin. I was the president of Wisconsin State Fire Chiefs back in 2017 and 2018. Been through COVID, been through the explosion that we dealt with here in Sun Prairie, been through a lot of things. When I came to this area, it was a lot smaller than it is now. None of the west side was developed, and we've had a lot of challenges from that. But we're a growing community. The city of Sun Prairie is part of the Dane County region, as everybody knows, and we have just grown. And I think this was one of the big catalysts for bringing that hotel into here. And now look where we're going, and look at the movement here in Sun Prairie. In 2024, Sun Prairie's fire department moved from a corporate structure, which was very interesting because I've always followed the leadership of our mayor and our city administrator, who have always been really great to me, but it was in a different capacity being a corporation. A lot of people wonder why we shifted from being a corporation into a municipality, because it was such a big savings to have a corporate fire department. And I can tell you what the challenges of that were. Being a corporate fire department, we had a lot of different issues, but mostly it was a volunteer type of a fire department when I came here. We had a half a dozen full-time employees, and we were running around 900 fire calls a year and probably closer to 2,500 EMS calls a year. So we had an EMS director at the time, and I was the fire chief of the corporation. But the problem was, and it was a great problem back in the day, because, and we're going to talk about this a little bit, the generational side of the fire service, the generations of what changed the fire service. And there's a lot of people who are still angry about that, but I want to say it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. We'll talk about that also. But being a corporate fire department and having a corporate fire department is about saving money. And that's what it was. We had firefighters that weren't making any money. They were volunteer, and they were showing up here at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning to go out and handle calls and do the things that we're doing. But as we started to grow as a city, we all chose to be in the city and follow the growth pattern of it. We needed to elevate our department into municipality, because I can tell you, every firefighter that I had when I started here is working somewhere else in a different capacity. Out of the first 10 firefighters that I hired here, 8 of them currently work in Madison for the Madison Fire Department. And 2 of them work for other departments. One of our gals works at the college, and Mark, another guy of mine, went to Fitchburg. All for bigger jobs and bigger opportunities and more money. I couldn't compete with that. Sun Prairie became the training ground for the state of Wisconsin. I have numerous firefighters in Milwaukee, numerous firefighters in Green Bay, numerous firefighters in La Crosse. All through this state and all through this country, we have trained firefighters and lost them because we weren't paying anything here. So it was time where, unfortunately, every time I would go to hire somebody who was on our list, they weren't going to come and work here for $16.50 an hour. So those are the things that had to change. And also the big thing was the generational side of it. I touched on that a little bit earlier, but and a lot of people who have the same color of hair as mine and are part of the Wisconsin State Fire Chiefs continually are angry about the evolution of the fire service, because one of the biggest problems that we had is the Gen Zs, the millennials, and that they have a different mindset of work and what they want to do. And a lot of people get very angry with that issue. You know, they don't know the difference between a regular screwdriver and a Phillips screwdriver. It's the plus sign and the minus sign and all the other different issues. But I look at it different because I have a couple of sons who are millennials. And it kind of, I'm like looking at these people who are criticizing the millennials, and they're the people who are raising them. You know, a big issue. But what I've noticed about the millennials having two young sons is they're better at family. They're better at life. They are not interested in working 24-hour shifts or being at the firehouse or the EMS house on a Saturday and Sunday. That's a fact of life. When I got into the fire service, everybody wanted to be a firefighter, a police officer, or something like that. There was one job for every 300 people out there. Today it's changed. There's one job for every 20 people out there. So the evolution of this position is completely changed, and it's really affected our way of doing business. But I want to tell you, I don't think anybody's done it better than Sun Prairie as incorporating a money-saving fire department for this city. 45% of my staffing right now is currently done by part-time people. And this is the bad part of it, making about $12.50 an hour to cover a daytime shift and a nighttime shift. So if I go over to my fire department right now, my minimum staffing on fire is 8. 4 of those people will be part-time personnel, which is saving a large sum of money to the fire, probably about half of my budget. My budget would double right now if we had to hire full-time personnel. So we've been working hard at continuous recruitment, and the way that we found it is we started a program here called the Next Gen program. It was a combination of us and the college, and I'm sorry, why am I having a Prairie Phoenix Academy, where we put it all together and we started bringing young men and young women and of all different sizes, colors, shapes, and everything else into, I know you keep on telling me to step back here. I know I'm probably not. Sorry. Okay. Sorry, I'm a mover. I gotta move. I gotta do this. So, we started this program called the Next Gen program. And this Next Gen program started with 10 young men and women who, I'll be honest with you, it was started to get these folks a high school education and to give them an opportunity to work with their hands instead of having to put pencil to paper. And this program grew and grew and grew. Next year we had 15. The next year we had 20. Now, not only is this program in Sun Prairie, it's in every community in the state of Wisconsin. It started here in Sun Prairie, and we are in those colleges every day recruiting young men and women to come in and fill our slots. And not just young men and just young women, young qualified men and young women. They have to be a firefighter too, and they have to be trained to the level that Sun Prairie has the expectations. And it's really, really been a great program. In fact, I got one of my senior firefighters in the back, Chris Alexander, who can talk a little bit about that if you ever have any questions. But I look at the tiers of my fire department. I was still on the first slide, so I promise I won't go too long. But I'm just so proud of the organization and proud of where we came from. And it's just an honor to get up here and speak about this. But it's my internal people who are out there recruiting people every day. We recruited 9 firefighters 2 months ago, and brand new ones, to come in and be part of the fire department. I lost 6 in the last month to other departments because they're going and becoming full-time firefighters. Is this a problem, losing people? Yeah, it is. But what we're doing is we're taking young men, young women from the Sun Prairie, Madison area, and we're training them for a career and sending them off to Green Bay, sending them off to Milwaukee, sending them off to La Crosse, sending them off to all these different places, one just into the Marine Corps. We're sending them to great places for great things. And I just lost one of my most valued battalion chiefs, one of my highest level people, because he's getting into the mental health business of the fire and EMS service. So losing people, but for great reasons, but we have to continue to recruit. Every time I recruit 9, I'm probably going to lose 5 in the next year, and we have to continue to do that. But that's also a warning, because I can honestly tell you, we used to be very active in the paid on call program with the EMS, and that is literally gone. I have a half a dozen EMS part-time people, as opposed to about 60 on the fire side who work alongside us. And that program went from about 5 or 6 years ago to 4 or 5. And I'm lucky to get them to come in and cover shifts, because it's hard to get part-time people and it's hard to get people into this business. So we have to work a little bit harder on the EMS side. EMS has been a great thing to take over for me. I was a firefighter and a paramedic for over 20 years in the Chicagoland area. So I knew EMS, and I was asked if I could take that on, and it's just a fit and it just belongs. We've done a great job of, one of the hardest things is to bring 2 unique groups of people. And let me tell you, my paramedics are the best paramedics in the state of Wisconsin, because that's what they do. They are paramedics 24 hours a day. They're also a little goofy, but bringing fire and EMS, that was the biggest concern. How are they going to get along? How are they going to adapt? And the important thing is, if you challenge people and you give people opportunities and you lead quietly, in a sense, and you take care of people, they will take care of you. And this marriage has been absolutely unbelievable. Do you realize when I first got here, fire and EMS didn't get along at all? There was a rumor, you could probably attest to that, I can't, but the fire and EMS chief were ready to go, hooks, before I got here. And did fire and EMS even get along with police? No. That's been one of the biggest challenges of my job, to bring all of public safety together. And I've had some fantastic people, Pat Anhold, Mike Stepp is one of a great guy. And now our new chief, Kevin Work. Wow, he is knocking it out of the park to help continue to bring this thing together. So I got a little off, but I like to chat. So fire and EMS merger, that came along, and here's 2 of my paramedics with 3 of my firefighters, and it's just been a great marriage and a great merger, because we do the same thing. You get any call we go on, there's going to be police, fire, and EMS there. We go to a car accident, police, fire, and EMS. We go to a structure fire, police, fire, EMS. We go to a shooting, police, fire, EMS. It's a marriage made. And it's just been a great thing, because we've got great people, but we always have to remember it's how we treat people. That's how we retain people. I'll be honest with you. When I was a leader in Lake Forest, Illinois, where I came from, I was more of a type of a person, hey, shut up, get on the rig, respond, move forward. It's not the way to lead anymore. I'll be honest with you. We do operate on a very quasi-military basis when we're on the fire scene, but we're in the firehouse. We all work together. We all take care of each other, keeping the firehouse clean, going on calls, keeping equipment up to date, because equipment is a fire truck nowadays, folks, $1.25 million for a fire truck today. And we have to replace them every 15 years per NFPA standards. A lot of people wonder where our money goes. 90% of our money goes to staffing and personnel, but that other 10% to the CIP. Wow, that is really, really a big challenge for us, is replacing ambulances, replacing fire trucks. And those have been challenges lately because of parts and getting things in. We just took ownership of 3 ambulances the other day that I've been waiting for over 3 years. Yeah, it was really difficult to get, but it's been trying, because we're always trying to work to keep those ambulances in line. So I didn't know what to talk about today. I love talking about leadership. That's my favorite subject in the world. But I think now, we talked about it earlier, we got a referendum coming up. Everybody understand the city is at their levy limits. That means basically we can't tax above our levy limits, but we continue to grow. And it's been hard keeping up with that growth. And continuously, I've been asked to do more with less. Okay. And you know what? I'm good with that. In a sense, I've always told the mayor and the city council that, and I've got some of you in here, and I think you've heard it from me before. It's not me that dictates the response. It's you guys. And whatever you give me, I will take, and I will make it work to the best of my ability. But there is concern in my chief's light and in my heart of where the fire service is going to in the next 10 years. Because when I walk into a restaurant and I sit down in a restaurant and I look around at some of the young kids out there anymore, and what are we seeing? We're seeing young kids with headphones on, earphones on, and they're swiping. And I didn't swipe when I was a kid. I went out and played Army and played cowboy and played it's a different generation. And guess what, folks? There's more of them than there are of us. So we need to learn to adapt to them and find out the things that they like about the fire service to bring them in. One of the big things that we did is we built great gyms at both stations. It brings firefighters in because they want to work on fitness. A lot of people might think this is goofy, but I bought a Game Boy machine and put it up on our top. Guess what? Firefighters come in sometimes and they play games or they do something, and I have extra people on staff because there's something to do. We want the fire department to be a place where young men and young women want to hang out and be a part of something. So some of the biggest challenges that we're dealing with here in Sun Prairie is, of course, our growth. Our growth is the biggest issue. We've already set a path and set forward. The growth is here. It's coming. It's time to accept the growth and move forward with that growth. People want to live here in Sun Prairie. People come here, even though there's been issues with things in the paper about schools and other issues. It's still a great place to give your child an education and bring up your kids and a place to live. I lived in Illinois, Libertyville, Illinois, for 50 years of my life. Never lived anywhere else. Barely traveled outside of Libertyville except for once to go to Korea, believe it or not. And I got an opportunity to teach there. That was really cool. But I was a home person, stayed in Libertyville, Illinois. That's what I loved and that's what I liked. And I always thought I would come here, work 7, 8 years, and then retire back to Libertyville. No, I like it here. I like my little house over off of O'Keefe and on Summerfield, and I love the community and I love the people. And my wife, my lovely wife, works at the police department. She'll probably be here a little while after I retire, so this will be my home. I'm going to probably run for alder or something else someday to see what I can do to shake up the world a little bit. Yeah. So not only that, but the soaring call volume. This is something I really want everybody to listen to. Fire response tripled between 2014 and 2024, and EMS calls increased by over 75% since 2018. This puts immense strain on our personnel. But you know what, a big thing that we're dealing with today is mental health. Me as a firefighter back in the day, I would say, I wore armor. I wore armor to protect me from all of the issues and all the things that I've seen and all the things that I've had to deal with. I can tell you that some of the things that I've had to put in the back of my mind have been very troubling and very disturbing. I mean, I don't want to be gross and I don't want to tell you, but I've seen 50, 60 suicides in my life. I've seen 5 suicide by trains where I was the first one on the scene 4 times. And all of those things I've always been able to put back in my mind, and I never thought they would come back. But after the explosion and after a call that I had on the west side a year ago, some of those things started coming back. And some of the kids, young kids today, it's called PTSD, are dealing with so many issues with what they have to do. And think about that when they go on 6, 7 ambulance calls a day, some of the trauma that causes in that mind. So mental health has been a huge, huge adventure into our fire service. The average life of a full-time firefighter after retirement is 7 years. Most firefighters retire at 50 to 60 years old. They wonder why so young. but that's because the lifespan and the expectations is something, and there's a high rate of suicide in fire, police, and EMS. And these are things that we have to watch out for and have to be careful of because it's very trying on the organization. Another big issue is the staffing shortages and retention issues. I told you 45% of my current staffing comes from part-time. I have kind of 3 tiers of part-time personnel. My top tier is the people like Chris Alexander. They're people from the community who want to contribute to the community and they want to be part of it. And most of them were in the old corporation and have transferred over. They're still here. The Aaron Jurgens of the world, the Aaron Heedners, the Chris Alexanders, the John Loefflers. These guys are guys who are working in the community, but they want to give back. But I've only got about 20 of them left. And they cover most of my night shifts. 45% of our night shifts they cover. Then I have that bottom group. I'm going to shift from the top to the bottom. The bottom group are the young, gung-ho, out of high school, out of college, young men, young women. As I said, of all shapes, all colors, all sizes, and everything. And that group there, that's my revolving door because they're coming in to get experience. And a lot of them know if they come in and they work at Sun Prairie, Madison's going to look at them more. Green Bay is going to look at them more. All the other departments in Wisconsin are going to look at them more because they were trained here. Okay, as I said, I'm not ashamed to be in the training ground, but it's hard to lose some of these good people. But I don't have any openings. I can't fill them. So I'm going to keep on bringing those young men and women in, and they're going to serve us for 1 year to 2 years, maybe 3, and then they're going to take off for another adventure and another job. But we are supplying the community with great opportunities, and it's a great thing to do. So that's, I talked about it. Funding and financial constraints. Facing levy limits right now. I need so think about this. My fire inspection office, they do 2 inspections of every commercial building just here in the city. And you know, we serve the town of Sun Prairie and town of Bristol, which also have some businesses, not as much. But to be honest with you, that's 3,000 plus inspections a year. And I have 1 person in the Fire Inspection Bureau who basically oversees all of the inspections. They're done by shifts and staff. That's why a lot of times you see a fire truck parked at the hotel or at an apartment building because they're doing inspections. And the biggest problem I have right now is we're running 7 to 8 fire calls a day. So they go out, they start doing their inspections, and then they get called on a call. They go out and they try and finish them, then they go on a call. And we're really struggling with that. And one of the really great things about the inspection side of it, when I report my inspections at the end of the year for all 3 communities, I get about $250,000 a year back at the state in what's called 2% dues. Those are tax monies that send back to us. So it really covers the cost of my fire prevention bureau, where there's Ryan, Ed, who's a part-time personnel, and Natalie, who does our community risk reduction classes. And within that group, they're responsible for all of that, inspecting 3,000 inspections a year and doing all of our education in our schools. I'm sure some of your kids have come home and talked about the firefighters coming to school and doing some really cool things. These are things that we're facing, folks. And I'm going to be honest with you, that 45% that I told you about, we need to start nipping at that, because that 45% in the next couple of years is going to drop down to 42% and then 40%. And then it's going to keep on following the same trend, because I can't replace those 20-year veterans. I can't. And then we got that middle group who's a little cross between both of them. A lot of people who wanted a career in fire service, but it didn't work out. And some people who just want to serve the community. So that's my personnel. On EMS side, it's a great opportunity, but I talked about the mental health issue. I'm hiring back 1 or 2 people almost daily in overtime to come back and serve, because we have minimum staffing of 8 people on EMS. And EMS trends are continuing to dictate our call volume. So these are some of the struggles and some of the things I'm dealing with. Infrastructure needs. We just had a study done by Wisconsin Policy, and what came out of that study is Fire is going to continue to build at a slower rate. EMS is going to continue to build at a higher rate. We average about 350 calls per year. We're a little under that this year, but you know, I've done some research and looking into the numbers, trying to figure out why. And since apartment subsidies went way down, some of our apartment buildings were only at 30% of their level of how many were occupied. So that brought our numbers down. Now I'm seeing numbers going back up. As of today, we're about 130 calls on the EMS side above where we were last year. It's a little down from most years, but over the next couple of months, we're seeing a big rise. So, you know, things are different, things are hard, but we continue to move the needle in fire and EMS. As I said, I've got a great group of people that I work for at CHU, and an opportunity is here, and I love the opportunity. I've got about 10 more slides. I'm going to stop with this one because I would love to talk to you more and more. But remember, we do have a referendum, folks, coming up, and I hope everybody in this room gets up and votes, not for the referendum. I'm not asking you to vote for a referendum. I'm asking you to get educated so you know whether or not to vote for the referendum. Police, fire, and EMS are hurting, but I understand it's like a pizza. We can't have the whole pizza in public safety, and that's where the majority of our money goes. But we need to think about the future of Sun Prairie and the direction where we're going, and we need to invest into all areas. Folks, we built a big, beautiful library. Gotta staff it. You know, it's opportunities. We're moving things forward, and we have to continue to move that needle, and hopefully things will get better. But I'd like to say the last 4 to 5 minutes, if you have any questions for me or anything that I can answer. So I'm gonna throw it out to you, Lauren.
First, I work here at the Colonial Club, and we probably call EMS more than the average business.
Yes, you are one of my hot spots.
Yes, and I'd like to say that your staff is awesome. They're here when we need them, and they're always very caring and polite, and I really appreciate that. But one of my questions is that when I talk to a lot of the seniors around here, how often do you get called for people that fall and can't get up?
It's
I don't mean that to sound.
that and breathing problems are probably the highest call volume that we have. And that is a non-transport call, which means we don't charge for it. So that's something that puts my staff out and about. That's why I have 4 ambulances, folks. It is not unusual for me to have 4 ambulances out at one time and have to call Madison or DeForest in to help us. Now, the difference is we used to constantly call Madison to come in and help us. This year is a new world because we've gone to Madison as much as they've come to us. We used to be how do I put this? Because the term I want to use isn't going to work. But to be honest with you, we used to be a pain in their butts. All right, because they were always calling us in. Now, DeForest is a pain in our butts because they're always calling us in. We are amongst the players. We're the 2nd largest department in Dane County, and we run neck and neck with Fitchburg on what we do and how we do it. And we're much better than anybody else. This is the best fire EMS department in the state of Wisconsin. I can guarantee you that, bar none. And the falls, that's as I said, that's our leading call.
So maybe that's something we could work on. We do fall education, but I know I've talked to some of our people who, I had to call 5 times this week. And I think, wow, that's a lot of resources for maybe something that could be prevented.
Absolutely. And you know, and some of the other challenges that I'm facing, you know, we used to have an emergency room here in Sun Prairie. Losing that emergency room added 15 to 20 minutes to every call that we go on EMS wise. And that's over 5,000. My guess is this year will be at around 5,500 at the end of the year. Questions, bring them. I love it. Sir.
Chief, I know you're responsible for Sun Prairie. What's the relationship with Marshall Fire EMS?
Love Marshall Fire and EMS, and we have a great relationship with the fire side. Everybody, I believe everybody in the room knows that we are at the end of this year not going to serve Marshall anymore. That's a shame because, in a sense, because regionalization is the big thing that needs to happen in the fire service. And unfortunately, I'm sorry, it's not at our level. It's at a bigger level where people don't want to, they don't want to combine. I mean, I'll be honest with you, there's fire departments in the area that we've beaten to their fires and they're mad at us for it. Hey, if somebody, if I'm busy and I call another department in to come and service Sun Prairie, it's a big thank you. And will you do it again and keep on doing it? Because we're growing and we need help. And we do have a great relationship with fire and still a great relationship with EMS. There's a very smooth transfer going on with the EMS department, but it is a private ambulance that's coming in. I don't think that the service compares, to be honest with you. Okay? Because my paramedics are freaking unbelievable. As I said, a little goofy, but unbelievable. And I hate the idea of it, but here's what you got to think of. And this is why it hasn't worked. Regionalization needs to continue, and maybe we'll get to revisit that someday. But there's that town of Sun Prairie that's in between here. And that ambulance was supposed to be the third, I got 4 now, remember that, the third ambulance to come here into Sun Prairie. And it just didn't work out because Madison ambulances were even closer than that Marshall ambulance. But since you have to drive all the way through the town of Sun Prairie, it makes it extremely difficult to use that ambulance. So that ambulance, say we run about 20 ambulance calls plus a day. That ambulance was only running 1.25, and it was costing the city extra money to run that. It was definitely more financially beneficial to bring that ambulance back into town to serve the town of Sun Prairie, in the town of Bristol, and the city of Sun Prairie. Here's something that to know: ISO ratings are very, very important, and ambulance calls are very, very important. Defibrillation within the first minute is hugely important. With our current staffing right now, can get to any part of the city of Sun Prairie. I want to tell you, it's not the township, but the city within 5 minutes, which is absolutely unbelievable. And we are way above the scale in that area. But we will continue to help Marshall. We will continue to move forward with them. We will work for them. If they call, we'll come. Sure.
Mine was basically the same line about mutual aid. How do you decide who you can send?
Mutual aid is an amazing thing. Mutual aid is, it's a system where we call for help. So if I'm en route to a scene, and interesting story, I've missed 1 fire in the 10 years that I've been here. 1. I never leave Sun Prairie. I'm always here. My kids, it drives them nuts, but it is what it is. But mutual aid box alarm systems are actually laid out. If I'm going to a fire and it's at an apartment building, and I get a report about that fire being at a certain level, I go right to our dispatch and say, give me a box alarm to the first level to a structure fire at 1100 Park Circle. And within that, it sends 5 different apparatus from different communities in here. It's literally set up. It's on a card, and it sends 2 ambulances from other areas. It sends tenders from other areas. It's literally laid out. All I have to do is go to it. I mean, in the downtown explosion that we had, where literally Mavis division departments ran our department with me at the leadership because I gave everybody in the department 2 weeks off. Mavis ran our department for 2 weeks. Staff, both of our stations, through Mavis. So Mavis is the most amazing thing. It's, besides me, it's the second best thing that came out of Illinois. Sir.
Will you talk about your long-term need for another fire station?
So right now we're at capacity with ambulances and buildings, okay? And a lot of our, I really work closely with city staff to talk about the future and developments. We've got an interesting thing going out at the QBE site and how things are going. But one of the things that we look at, and we build our hotspots with the help of GIS, Lou over at GIS, he literally takes all of our calls and tells us where the majority of the calls is. And so one of the things that we've done with these heat maps is we've discovered where we want to put our 3rd and our 4th station. Whether our 3rd, I'd love to see our 3rd station before I leave here, but finances might trouble that. But we have plans for the 3rd and 4th station, and that's a 20-year plan. You can't look at the world next year or the year after. You got to look 20, 30 years down the road. And that's why the whole Marshall and EMS thing might come back together someday. It's a great route, but one of the biggest areas that we're seeing future building over the next 5 years is out in the bird and the agri area, and we see that looking to start filling in that area. And we have some high areas in the Vandenberg area that we respond to, and some of them out at some of the buildings that house some of our older residents out in that area on Liberty Street and over in that area. So our next targeted area where I'd like to see our third station, why do we need a third station? Because if we add any more people to station 1 or station 2, we're going to need to add sleeping quarters and, more facilities. The best thing to do is to add another station to keep that number, that 5-minute response number down. So Burden Agri out there in that area is where we targeted our third station, and our fourth station, if that comes 20 years from now, out off of Bailey Road, where they're talking about the new public works facility. We build that in conjunction with that to make it cheaper and make it work out. But no offense, but I probably won't even be walking on this earth when that happened. But who cares? It's good to move things forward.
So,
Did I answer your question? Good.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
so you said, falls was your, kind of one of your biggest responses. What are the other ones? Like, what are your top 5 reasons other than a fire?
Well, breathing problems, heart attacks, heart issues. I could literally point to half a dozen seizures, strokes. Those are big call volumes. EMS is what drives it. A lot of people ask, why is it fire followed by a fire truck? Because two reasons. Number one, first of all, if the ambulances aren't in the station 1 district, the firefighters are called out as second level EMS personnel to at least get that call going. And remember that magic 5 minutes. Every minute after 5 minutes is a 10% less chance of survival. So bringing that engine out there, those people take care of the blood pressures, the pulses, while the EMF people work on the high level, high acuity issues, the meds, the drugs, the IVs, the in-bone IVs, the different things that they do. And then the firefighters, they help move and the cot move the people. We have electric cots now, which I never had. My back can tell you that back in the day. But adding a fire truck to a call, and people are, why would you do that? Because it takes about 15 to 20 minutes off of the call, because the ambulance can do their thing and the firefighters can be, I hate to say that, we're the mules. We're the ones who do the work, and they're the ones who use their brains. Makes sense? That makes sense? Cool.
In driving.
What's that?
In driving the ambulance.
Yeah, driving. It's very common that, thank you, that a truck will go to a call and one of the firefighters will jump out to keep 2 paramedics. If it's an ALS call, to keep 2 paramedics in the back. It's also not unusual for another firefighter to walk back and do compressions or do help with some of the other things. So it's not unusual to see 2 paramedics and 2 firefighters on an ambulance.
Did you say that falls were more free or something, or you're not getting paid as much for the system falls?
I'm sorry.
Did you say that you weren't getting paid as much on the?
We don't charge for, if we don't transport, we don't charge.
Because falls are usually just couple up in the bed or something?
Yep. And that's a big part of our job. And I don't want to lay this out wrong, but when I'm in my 70s, 80s, if I were to fall off of the pedestal and be stuck in a corner, I don't want to be sitting there either. So it's very important. Sometimes the firefighters get there first and they can help out and handle that situation. But the other issue is what made that fall happen. It's not uncommon for what we call an alpha call, a low-level call, to become a delta call, a high-level call, because something else is going on there. It's very important to not only get there and get the person up in bed, but evaluate the why of what happened. Sir.
Think of that like if you have a same person calling repeatedly, you have some kind of a guideline.
Yes, we do.
As to how to refer them to a better situation so that they don't have to call so often.
That's a great question. and some of the issues that we've helped with in the past. We have a doctor from UW who is our oversight. We bring that doc in, we have a conversation with him, and he talks to whatever medical provider that person has. I mean, we've had some people very large that we've had to go to daily to handle situations, but that's how we do it. The doc works with their medical provider to do those things. And that's a great question. It's not unusual, believe it or not. You would be shocked in Sun Prairie, but we've helped with a lot of hoarding issues and a lot of different things. We are the masters of dealing with hoarding and people living in areas that are unsafe. I could do another hour on our public education, believe me. Sir.
Speaking of public education, explain a little bit about the Fire EMS Academy.
Oh, love it. That's, I brought that here from Lake Forest. I created it in Lake Forest. It's an opportunity for this group here. This is what, and we've got it. I don't have the dates, but I will send it to you guys for the dates. But a lot of people in this room have been through that academy. You've been through it, right? You did not do it. Well, it's an opportunity to come in and learn about why Chief Garrison is eating your tax dollars and to try and justify that issue. It is, so one of the things that I've asked Natalie, our community risk reduction person, is to put together a class for all ages. We've got elderly classes. We put in car seats, over 300 car seats a year Natalie installs. We don't have a measure on how many lives that saved, but I guarantee you a lot. And then in between, we've got the driving classes. We're working on a distracted driver classes for the high school. In addition to that, we're working on a young kids stay at home alone class. So we're working on these different classes, but the class that he's talking about, you come in for 6 or 7 Wednesdays, and you learn each aspect about the department to understand why our budget is what it is. We literally throw our budget up there and we break it down and we tell you where every penny is going and how we're using it and why we're using it in that capacity. It's good for not only you, but transparency and everything else that we do.
And also delivering home delivered meals for the seniors.
Yep, every other Monday, right?
Right?
Yep.
I think so. I think
Meals on Wheels. And when we do the Meals on Wheels, we stop and ask them, can we replace the light bulb? Can we do this? Can we do that? Because we know hip injuries and stuff like that are the key to what's going on. Sir.
Do you do CPR training for the community?
We do in a limited capacity because we have to hire back for that. And it's a little bit of a struggle, but if you call us, we will figure out a way to get that working for you, sir. And we do a lot of classes for like different residencies throughout the area.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, one last one, and I promise I'll leave.
I think you have an open door policy.
Yes.
Is that true? And what does that kind of involve?
Well, come in and talk to me. Give me a call. I've never turned down a resident, an alder, or anybody to come in and talk to me. If you might pick this up, I love talking about it. I love what I do. I'm compassionate about it, and I'm motivated about it. I don't know. I'm getting towards the end of my rainbow, but I don't know when that is yet. But I promise you this: when I do leave here, it will be better than it is today. I promise you that. And I have an open door policy. You call me directly or email me directly, and I will make an appointment to sit down and discuss anything that you want to discuss. Thank you.
So very much. All right, we are the happy dollar portion of our meeting.
Right, you got your money, folks, happy dollars, things that you're happy about, things that you want us all to know about, your family, your job, your betting on football games.
Oh, yeah. We don't talk about football.
Rich, you got one for us?
I got 2.
Okay, go for it.
If you mark me down for 2, one is I finally won another game. It's been a long time for fantasy football, and I think I helped Jim out a little bit because I took the number 1 team and made him now the number 2 team. So that was kind of nice. The other thing is a congratulations to Teresa on her award. That was kind of neat. He's seeing it on Facebook and everything. I appreciate that.
Thanks, Rich.
Thank you. Okay, over here, let's do Brian.
Happy for that. Fire department here. I got one little fire tip to pass on to for anything electrical, anybody's house. If you're wondering if it's safe, after it's been operating for a while, pull the plug and feel how warm the metal prongs are on the cord. That's the way so that you can, whenever there's any doubt about the safety of an electrical product, we a lot less of this right now, but okay.
Thank you.
Should be cooking your hot dogs on those metal prongs.
Couple of happy dollars. One for my two sons who are both serving at Truax Field full time. And everything that they do every day, very much appreciated. And a happy dollar for just the joy of being a grandparent. Tonight we get to have Theo and Etta over this evening while Jake and Tessa have a meeting that they need to go to. Being a grandparent is awesome.
It is. Supposed to be a great grandparent. Okay.
Mine is to thank Chief Garrison for being here today and for his years of leadership in the community and teaching all of us what it means to be a good, solid, yet quiet leader.
Okay.
My happy dollar is $1 for the Badger win. Hey, you can see what that's like. Actually, my one son shot a 10-point deer on our farm. It was just a beautiful animal. And then also my son-in-law shot a 10 points. So I've got $20 happy dollars for 20 points. Very good.
It'd be an expensive call for you.
Chris, you forgot to go up there. Okay, you get through one. What you good?
I guess I'm happy that I got him here. He asked me about the coming to Rotary. I'm not a member yet. I know you guys from the pancake breakfast, but I'm happy to know something powerful.
Okay.
Got a couple happy dollars. One is lifelong Prairie resident. I've got a lot of appreciation for the Arnie Clevens and Joey Seltzers of the world, and I'm really appreciative that Chief Garrison is with us now. The other happy dollar is also happy that Stephanie was able to join us today. The little bit I know about her, I think her service and self-ethic will service above self-ethic will make her a good Rotarian like Matt was.
Very good. Well, as long as we're on you, you get a free one.
Terry, what's your turn for me?
I will take your money.
I'm really thankful that Terry invited me into Rotary because, as, I'm not gonna retire, I was gonna do that someday. I was in philanthropy all through college through organizations for that, so it's kind of getting back to my roots. Family makes you really busy, and I've been really busy with family, with, your kids, your teams, and then aging parents, so I get what Mr. Garrison's talking about a lot, just seeing it, and then dealing with people on the phone, but really thankful for Terry inviting me and getting to see all of your faces and hearing everything, and I'd be interested in volunteering probably for the ACDC. It's July, isn't my birthday, but it's here. So thank you.
Hey, you get a free one.
Thank you for having me. This has been really exciting, and I really appreciate being here. And it's nice to meet you.
Just wanted to thank Kate for coming this morning as a guest. Just to give you an idea how the world goes around. I met Kate through the recruiter. They recruited me to go to Habitat, who's now recruiting the primary replacement. Along that path, I met Kate, so I think she'd be a great addition to our club. Hope she likes it. We'll play it out if she shows up again.
All right, over here.
I'd like to thank Chief Garrison for coming today, and, you know, his passion is this inspection.
Couple, 2 weeks ago, I was in Philadelphia at a conference. I gave a presentation, also attended a board meeting for a nonprofit that I sat on that board. I'll tell you more about that later when I do my, number of minutes later. And then I went to Missouri last week, saw my grandson play ultimate frisbee, a huge, ultimate frisbee tournament down there. Then went to another board meeting that I served on. I'll tell you more about that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for speaking today. And I just want to say about perspective of Rotarians, it's a wonderful way to get to know the community and what goes on. I taught for 35 years, and it's really nice to see everything else that's going on. Thank you. All right, so I have 5, well, I will say, Chief Garrison, you have more energy than most people I know, so that was just awesome to see. And
At 7:30 in the
at 7:30 in the morning. So personally, I hope you're not retiring anytime soon. I get to give a happy football dollar. Again, we haven't had many of those this year, but when I was at the game, they let the students and any fan who wanted to rush the field. You'd have thought we won the national championship. It's absolutely insane, but it was fun to watch. And then another one, just thank you all your veterans in this room and all of those who have served our country. I have many family members who are or have been in the military as well. Really appreciate all you do for us. And then I have 3 things. Polio Plus. So a couple weeks ago, Dave brought in a bunch of coins. Then we had a bunch of other people who donated to Polio Plus. So really appreciate that. Dave's bag of coin, it ripped the bag it was in, so thank you. But not the plastic one, just the paper one. And then that was $118.50. Plus, I think that same day there was a 20 in there and some other thing, another $36. So all that money will go towards Polio Plus and eradicating polio. Thank you very much for that. And then I just wanted to give you, you may have seen it, you may not have, I'm not sure if it's been sent out to the presidents yet, but we all know that a couple of weeks ago, we had some really devastation in the Jamaica area with Hurricane Melissa, who hit at a Category 5. I personally have a team that works in Jamaica, so they were hit really hard with that. Rotary is doing Hurricane Melissa relief. So if you are interested in helping out financially in any way, Rotary is involved in that. And I got that at the district level just this past week. So Jen, if you haven't gotten it, I will share that with you. But Rotarians are known for really pitching in and helping out. So the people I know, thank goodness, the ones they've been in touch with, they have physically, they're okay, but some of them have lost everything. So it really has been devastating. So just like I said, Rotarians, more about that from the district, and then there's ways if you choose to do so. So I just want to put that on.
Hey, Garrison, you got a free one. Doesn't have to have anything to do with fire department or anything like that.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you for everybody here. I really appreciate the opportunity to come in and chat. I ask one thing. I'm not asking anybody to vote for a referendum. But what I am asking is you educate yourself on it before you make your vote. I think I see a lot of things online, negative things, and unfortunately, some of them are uneducated. I challenge our staff. If you have questions about what we're doing, where your money is going, and that I live here in this community also, and I pray that it continues to prosper and move forward. But we can't stay status quo. It's hard. And as I said, my goal here is to educate you on what we do and why we do it. And if you don't believe in what we're saying, vote no. But if you do, please, educated vote for yes. I appreciate everybody's time. And if there's anybody else who would like me to come and chat, I'm happy to do so. because I believe in our direction and I believe in where we're going. And, I've got some alders who've been great supporters in the past and a mayor that hired me right here. It's a great story because Aaron was interviewing me. He said, well, chief, I don't know if we can do that. And he walked, he goes, what's it take to get you here and done? And then locked me in and here I still.
But did he follow through?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
My $1 is for all the veterans, including my family, my dad, my sisters, my husband. Thank you. Not just the veterans, but also our civil servants, because we all need them, right? And this is for my Nebraska volleyball team. Still unbeaten, and I think they're at 44 straight sets here.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I had an opportunity to go to that
Oh, that's
game.
right, yeah.
Yeah, it was sad if you were a Badger fan, but the level of play was just phenomenal.
It's fun watching.
Okay, I got everybody.
Me too.
Right, boss.
That's it. I got one. Thanks, Chief Garrison. Sounds like maybe the Y doesn't call as much as political, but we certainly call a lot. So, and I've always appreciated all the service that we've received. And then congratulations to Teresa. So that was a lovely little pitch that we saw, but congratulations, well deserved. All right, where's my bucket here? If you could for us, please, guest of honor, draw, and the last 3 digits would be
Okay, hold on. I gotta-
wonderful.
8, 2, 9er.
Wow, wow.
All right. Need to hear.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. Got that. All right. So, bit of Rotary knowledge. 1946, Rotary leaders were asked to join world leaders to draft what documents? United Nations Charter. So, fun fact there. And with that, we are done. Board meeting to follow. Should you care to join? Thanks, everybody.
Thank
you. Oh, yes. No, thank you.
They were. Yes, they were.
Yeah, probably. Somewhere.